On the run-up to the general election being held on the 12th of December, universities around the country have been campaigning for students to get involved and register to vote. Young people aged 18 to 24 contribute to 64% of the registered voters in the 2017 election, making their vote more important than ever in the upcoming result. To get a better understanding of the efforts being made to convince students to vote, we spoke to Kate Askew, the Union Development Executive Officer at De Montfort University Student Union, about what she and her team did to help persuade students to vote.
First and foremost, we wanted students to register to vote. That was kind of our numeric goal, that we could actually measure how many students with us registered to vote. But also I think it was more kind of the bigger impact was more on the larger conversation around things like myth busting. So I think that there's a bit of confusion with students in terms of what students in the Commonwealth can vote, what's the difference between proxy and postal. And I think actually a lot of what we did, aside from getting students to register to vote, was kind of just starting that conversation, actually saying, look, students couldn't have the voice here, and we'll probably be the casting vote in it all. So I think, to be honest, it was really successful. So we saw roughly 1,000 students in the day. With us, we had over 300 students registered to vote, which was amazing. And I think in terms of our branding, it was pink because it kind of wasn't related to any party, so we made it so there wasn't kind of supporting any party, and we made it so that it was very, so our tagline was your voice, your vote, I've registered of you, so it kind of wasn't related to any party.
Efforts were made to reduce any kind of misconception or confusion about where and how many times students could vote at university. A key point of discussion that the Student Union found was that of tactical voting. This is the idea of choosing where to vote in order to have the most impact in that constituency. Tactical voters are most often seen in areas of political contention, where parties have a close margin between who will win a seat. While some see this as a smart and effective way of casting their vote, some consider it to be dangerous to the democratic system. We spoke to the head of a politics society at De Montfort University, Zena Mistry, on what her thoughts were on the university encouraging students to register to vote.
I personally don't think it's something that should be pushed just because you're at university for a short period of your time. You could greatly influence the party that gets in that city. So for example, in Leicester, obviously there's a lot of students here. Students do typically tend to vote Labour. It could override what people that have built their lives here, have got their families here. It could greatly influence that, and it may not always be in the best interest as students are potentially living in a city for the short term.
With polarising views on whether the university should be campaigning for students to register to vote or not, one thing is for certain. Students and young people's votes are going to have a vital impact on the results of the upcoming election. Thank you for listening. This has been Ethan Sandy.